Hello, everybody. So we are back after a fair amount of time. It's been a fair few weeks now, and there is some reasons behind that, which I won't go into too deeply. I've got a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff going on in the background that I've had to sort out, but I'm excited to get back into this, and we're going to do this a bit differently. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a tour and update of what I've done since the last episode. I've kind of been picking away at it when I've had time, which is why Masters hasn't been done. But I've done a fair bit, which I'm very, very happy with so far. So we're going to dig deep into that, and I'm going to show you exactly what I've done. So first things first, I thought what I'd do with this is add a bus ride. I wanted to run a realistic shuttle bus from the main car park to the hotel, as a lot of bigger theme parks do, and that's going over to our Viking hotel, which we completed in the first couple of episodes, which I'm still really, really happy with. It's definitely one of my favourite things I've built in the game. So it's really good to get some transport links over there. I wanted to make it look like a roadway. It's not perfect. I think we all hate the pathing tool in the new game compared to the last game, but overall I'm happy with how it looks. I'm going to build like a bus stop area for the stations, the station covers, and clean that up a little bit. I'm not sure what he's doing just here, but yeah, I'm sure he's doing busy work. Just now I've started to box in the monorail station. I wanted to get that wrapped up because that was bothering me. Obviously it's an atrociously ugly building. It was never going to be a gorgeous piece of architecture. It was always going to kind of be make it work and then be done with it. Because as I said in the first episode, this was always kind of here from the start of the theme park, so that's why it's got kind of corrugated rusty walls, and it's kind of a bit janky, but it's all boxed in now pretty much. I've just got to finish off these edges. I'm not going to box in the rest of this path. I'm just going to add some foliage, and then that'll be done with. I'm not going to do the interior or anything like that because I'm not going to see inside it often. What I used to do on the first game was spend a lot of time doing interiors and detail, and then I'd just never see them again, so and I'd forget I'd even done them in the first place. So yes, these are temporary down here. These are just some staff rooms that I wanted to just add in. I've got some cleanup to do because obviously I just use a scenery brush around here, but that'll take 2 minutes to do. That's not a major. I've extended the monorail to go over and through this Greek area, which will serve the Greek area and our new Western area, which I'll go into shortly. And now cleared up this plot. One of the reasons why we're doing it this way, instead of a time lapse, is because I spent so much time trying to get a ride to fit here that I was happy with. Another coaster, sorry. I played around with the Vekoma launchers, and I just really wasn't getting a result I was happy with. I built a Intamin family coaster like 13, one of the drop coasters, drop track coasters. That I was really happy with, but it just didn't really. I couldn't really get it to work with the whole Greek theme because I want to keep this within the Greek theme. Maybe, I'm not sure yet, but as it stands so far, we're making these areas extremely small, and I wanted to do a bit more with the Greek area because I was going to originally put a supporting flat ride here for the Greek area, but none of them really tickled my pickle. So I'd like to do another, maybe a more family-based roller coaster than the Woody that we built in the previous episode. I've also added this shop down here, which again is very lightly detailed. It's got some seating, not a major building. I still need to put a roof on that, and obviously we've got the monorail going over, which will serve these two areas. And that's kind of it for this sort of region. I've just spent a bit of time detailing and cleaning up stuff and getting it kind of looking more complete. Benches, lights. It's been so long I can't remember what I did in the last episode, so I apologise about that. Monorail station just here, which I think will nicely separate these two areas kind of naturally. And of course we have this Western area. Now in the last episode I did mention how the Western pack was on its way and now has been out for a couple of weeks. So I thought since I've been gone for so long, I'll add some Western area to the park, which I may expand on in the future, wrapping it kind of around the lake a bit more. But for now I'm happy with how it's looking. I'll take you to where the guests will come in. So I wanted to add this little entrance portal, and I'll probably do the same for the Greek area a bit further down. But I think this looks pretty good. It's a very, very simple building, but I think it does the job. I just wanted to separate the sight lines because if we go down to guest view and we're over here, then it kind of just, it's not too obtrusive, and it kind of looked bare when it was just the just the rock work that was there previously. So I think it does the job. A bit more detailing to do. I wanted the train there. I probably had some more rock work to kind of close it in. But overall happy with it. And then I added this berm here to kind of again separate the areas and the pathways so the sightlines are nice and protected. And then I started on this big food hall, which will be like a sit-down restaurant, kind of like how towers have about 8 of them. How you go order your food, take it back to your table, like fast food, but sit-in fast food. It's not very detailed inside. I've just kind of closed it all off, added some lights, put some seats in there, and obviously added the food shops. So that's kind of that. Very basic building. I didn't want it to be too crazy because we are still somewhat of a medium budget park, even though this park is rapidly expanding. But I think so far it's looking like a medium budget park. And then of course we have this Mack launch coaster, which is just a single launch coaster, which looking back probably wasn't the best idea because it can only run one train, which is not the best for throughput. But I'm happy with the layout. It nicely weaves around the area, and it's got a good pace on it. I'll put a POV in at the end, obviously, as I have with all the other roller coaster. But I'm very, very happy with this roller coaster. I'm not really confident overly in doing big major roller coasters and making them super detailed, but I'm really like how this weaves around the area. Not a particularly long coaster, obviously, but has a nice little layout and interacts well with the area, and has a stall that goes over the path, which is something that I wanted to do. And I think it uses the area nicely to use it to its full potential. Obviously got nice bits of theming down here. That was kind of just me using the Western pack as much as I could. And then we obviously have this Mississippi showboat thing, and then I kind of put that there anyway before I built the coaster, and then I thought, oh, that could work nicely and interact with the coaster well. I've had to sink it into the ground, so we're just going to pretend that this is a sinking ship, but I think that goes nicely round and then down into the break room. I'm going to do some tweak and see if I can get it to run 2 trains, but I'm not entirely convinced. I've played around with it for too long because I think it could do with running 2 trains, but yeah, as I say, I'm happy with the coaster overall, but I feel like we need a bit more to add to it. And then we have this supporting flat ride, and this is one that's incredibly close to my heart. If you've ever been to Drayton Manor or went to Drayton Manor before Air Race, was built, the Zamperla Air Race, there was a ride there called Black Revolver, which was basically a Western-ish themed waltzer in a show building. It was pitch black. The only things you could see were the other cars because they were painted bright green and red. I always thought it was really cool and really random, and I thought this would be perfect for our little area. So we have this ride here, which is going to be called Gunslinger's Grave, which is a name I've been itching to use for a long time. Built this kind of like saloon plantation home style architecture, and yeah, obviously got a lot of finishing up to do with that, a lot of detailing, and put the roof on, but I wanted to do the lighting and stuff next. But you can see this lovely store here, even though it's probably not realistic, but I think it's a nice interaction with the pathway. Anyway, yes, so this is Gunslinger's Grave. I haven't named the roller coaster yet. I've got no clue what to name it, so if you've got any ideas, please do comment in the comment section below. Before I move on, I did have a play with, like I say, a flat ride here, but it just didn't work, so I just decided to put the monorail through there and just fill it out a bit more, which kind of leads me on as what to do next. I'm going to get everything that I've kind of started wrapped up before I move on. I want to get the entrance plaza done, because I haven't touched that since the beginning, since I was kind of working everything out, and I want to get that done because then the park will look a lot better. I'll have a lot of an idea for sightlines and so on. And yeah, so that's kind of all there is to it. Like I say, I spent a lot of time trying to do this and get it to work. Had a lot of creative block, which is something that not a lot of people talk about in the Planet Coaster community, but it absolutely kills me because I'll have a really good streak where I'll build stuff like this, which I'm super happy with, and stuff like this again, which I'm super happy with, and then I'll have an idea, I'll build it, and it just won't work. But that's the nature of it, and we keep plodding along. So as I say, we're going to be focusing more on getting stuff finished, so the next update might not look like there's much, but I will talk you through it, and then I'm going to do the entrance plaza, get the monorail station all wrapped up, and get this main entrance plaza kind of as finished as it can be. and then we can start looking at a new area. Now, the next area, I'm not 100% sure of what I want to do yet. I might move on to a water park kind of at the back of the theme park, but I'm not sure whether to put it at the back of the park or put it near the hotel, because the hotel guests will be using the swimming pool out of hours, so I'm tempted to put it in this area here. But water parks take up such a huge amount of space, so I'm not 100% of what I'm going to do yet with the water park, where it's going to go, what it's going to have in it. But I am going to build one, so that's kind of where we are. So apologies if this has been a bit of a stop-start video. Like I say, for the rest of this video, I'm going to be just giving you updates instead of doing time lapses, because I've just been doing a lot of toing and froing with ideas, and I'm sure not many people want to see that, but yeah. So at the end of this episode, once everything's wrapped up, I'll give you a POV of this Mack launch coaster, and then maybe even the Gunslinger's Grave indoor waltzer, or tilt-a-whirl as they're known in America. The park will need a dark ride at some point, and part of my ideas just here were to kind of sink a dark ride. So this path was going to stay at this level. I was going to build a nice big facade and then build the dark ride here and just cover it up with a show building. But none of the ride systems really leapt out to me as kind of Greek, and it's amazing how much I miss the Theme Maker's Toolkit from the first game, because it had so much on there, and I'm finding myself having to be really creative with stuff I've got and repeating it and making it different from the first, even though it's the same scenery piece. So please, Frontier, please add the Theme Maker's Toolkit and port everything over as well. I'll be very, very grateful of that. So yeah, so that's where we are. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about this, what I've done so far. I'd hate to admit how many hours I've spent just trying to get this right and to where I want it to be. I'm not completely chuffed with it. These buildings aren't particularly creative or inventive, but as I said in the first episode, I'm going to grow with this channel and grow with this series. So part of this series isn't just for you, it's for me to learn new skills and spend some time learning Planet Coaster 2. So thank you very much so far if you've been watching. I shall catch you in the next update. So, little quick update here. I know I said I'm going to finish stuff off, and I am. I just wanted to get an idea of kind of what's next, so I can use my brain and start thinking about how things are going to be plotted out and that sort of thing. So I think these buildings, these standard kind of brick buildings, are going to go. I'm going to probably do some kind of castle wall. I think they just look a bit nice, and I'll connect these buildings up a bit better, so this is all one. And then crack on with this. Also some detailing to do here, into this entrance portal into our Wild West themed area. I need to redo that roof as well, because I misted some of the pieces, so yeah, but ignore that. You've seen that already. And then this will be the Viking area, which I thought I would do next. A nice big kind of harbour area is going to be just here. I'm going to do a bridge over here, to maybe a coaster that takes up this kind of plot here is the plan. I'm not sure what type of coaster yet, but we shall see about that. And a little dart ride here at the back. Now, dart rides take a lot of time, and time is something that I don't particularly have a lot of in general. So I thought I'd just do a really simple kind of like pirate adventure style, but Viking little boat ride with some super simple scenes. As you can see, I've started on the station building here, which I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. Big doorway, and then this kind of like dungeon harbour-y area. And then I'm going to do kind of do like a boat battle here as the main scene, and then just maybe some more caves and themed areas just there. Not sure what it's going to be called yet. I wanted to make it super basic and nothing too in-depth, because like I said, they do take a lot of time, and it's something that I do need to get a bit better at before we tackle like a massive trackless dart ride system, which may come later in the series. I've also done this little island area, again not hugely themed, but I don't think it needs to be. Just kind of this mysterious island with these illuminated bioluminescent rocks, I guess you could call them, and then some bits and bobs of theming, a little jetty, and of course this main boat structure here. I didn't want it to be like a main piece of the park, I just wanted it to kind of go with the area. I also obviously need to do the rock work around the edge of the lake, but I just kind of wanted to get a feel for the area. So it'll probably span kind of around there, and then I'll do some kind of connection into the hotel, because obviously I thought the Viking area would fit perfectly down here because we have the Viking lodges. The monorail station still needs doing, obviously, but that'll take not much time at all, really, and that might get moved anyway because of how it kind of weaves. I kind of want it going straight out of there. And that's kind of where we are at the minute. I'm happy with how this is looking. I really like these stone pieces. I think they look fantastic. And these Viking pieces as well. I think it's quite handy having the Western set and the Viking set, because you can kind of cross over some of the scenery pieces and wall items and so on, to make them look kind of, to have a bit of continuity with the two theming packs. So the coaster is going to go here. It might be something like Mac Extreme Spinner or something along those lines. It's just going to take up this nice plot here that's going to interact is the word I was looking for, nicely with the water edge and the island and stuff. And this can be like a nice little plaza, and maybe I might even make its own island, but I think the entrance can be kind of here as a bridge as you go over. I think that'd be a nice little theming piece, and maybe even like a little boat ride around here would be cool. Just something more for the families, and obviously there'll be a supporting flat ride, because we are lacking flat rides at the minute with just the one, which is obviously the indoor tilt-a-whirl waltz, or whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. I'm still not sure what to do this area. It's really like bothering me and keeping me up at night, whether to make it a whole new area, whether maybe a jungle or something like that, or just carry on with the Greek theme, because the Greek area is relatively small and just consisting of one ride and a couple of shops. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what to do with that yet. But so far, I'm extremely happy with how the park is looking, and yeah, I'm getting motivation. Like I was saying to you in the last update, I was struggling with kind of like creative block with this project. I had to step away for a couple of weeks, obviously. Did some work on some other parks just off camera, just to kind of get those juices flowing. Watched some videos. I've been to Towers as well and seen their fantastic new flawless hush top spin intoxicator, and also did a Nemesis lift hill walk and VIP experience, which you can also see on this channel. But anyway, enough rabbiting on. I'm going to crack on a bit more with this and get kind of the floor plan design and the show building built maybe, and then move back on to just finishing off some stuff that needs finishing, because otherwise it will never get done and I'll forget about it. So I think the next thing to tackle is the entrance. I just need to get it done because it is bothering me an awful lot, and get this monorail station wrapped up. Still quite a bit to do on this, just in terms of like theming and scenery bits and all that good stuff as well. I need to widen this because that is actually just a guest spawner, which isn't ideal, so I might actually get rid of that and put some pathing. I'm going to do a live build here. I'd say the stamp tool is the only redeemable thing about the pathing tool so far. I cannot stand the pathing tool in general. So now that's done, that's the one thing ticked off the list. And yeah, we're just going to go around and finish some bits off. So I shall see you in the next update. Don't know when it's going to be. It could be in 5 weeks' time. But yeah, I shall update you shortly. So just a little progress update of our dart ride, our Viking boat dart ride. I thought I'd spend some time just getting as much of this done as I could. It looks a right mess, but there is good reason behind that. So I wanted to make this somewhat realistic, and as we know, there is like trussing that goes overhead in most dart rides. It's usually just a big dart building that are used for lighting fixtures. I wanted to do that because I did originally place some lighting, which is now up here, and that one there will be going on the trussing. And when the boat came around here, that was just on the building there, and it would just look really obvious. So get it tucked out of the way and get it away from people's eyes. So that's kind of why it looks a bit of a mess at the minute. Also, it's far from done. I just kind of wanted to get every scene planned out and worked out, and then I could go further in and go and detail it. There's still a hell of a lot of work to be done. Still a good fair few hours to be spent on this. I didn't want to go crazy and theme every single 360-degree view wall, just because it just takes too much time. And again, we're building a medium budget park here, guys. This isn't meant to be Disney, Universal, or whatever. It's meant to be just fine. And that's exactly what it is. I'm really, really happy with how it's coming out though, and I think it looks really good. This is kind of like a boating town, and then you go into kind of a battle with this big Viking boat here. I put some bits and bobs in this lake here just to kind of fill it out and make it look like it's somewhat of a shipwreck. And then we've got some effects here. I don't know if you can hear me, by the way, right now, so I apologise if the audio is too loud. But if you look, there's an explosion that jumps up. First time using the animatronics, excuse me. It looks fantastic. I'm really happy with how it came out. There's like a light flash and all that sort of thing. So I'm really happy with how it's come out. And then there's this kind of cave scene here, which is very, very basic. It's just got some water effects and some mist and lighting and audio. And then I'm not really sure what to do with this. This can kind of be another mirror of this maybe, like you're coming back to civilization, all is well. As far as the storyline goes for this ride, I'm not really sure. I think it's just kind of a Viking adventure boat dark ride. I haven't thought too much about a backstory and a whole, you know, lore for it. I just kind of had some ideas and put them down. But overall, I'm very, very happy with how this dark ride's turning out. I'll hopefully be getting this done in this episode. I'm going to spend the rest of the day on it, I think, because I have got a day off. So I thought, why not spend some time in Planet Coaster? I'm going to have to do some rejigging because we have a slight issue. I built right up to the boundary because I wanted this to be right on the edge here. However, the pre-planner in me did not foresee this. It's not let me build a wall here, even though this is well within the boundary. Allow me to demonstrate. So if we go down to ground level there, it's just saying we cannot build there, which is kind of an issue. I might just use a 2 meter wall piece to see if I can fill it in. And go from there. Goodness me, hay fever's coming in. Apologies if you heard that. Yeah, the building is just going to be a very, very basic corrugated building. We're going to do a harbour area here and theme it all nice. That's as high as I'm going to go. I'm not even going to put a roof on most of these rooms because the roof is black already, so hopefully you won't be seeing that. And a lot of the time dark rides are just a building. They haven't got individual roofs for each room or ceilings. Apart from the cave scene will obviously have its this rock going all the way across just to tuck it in nicely. Apart from that, I think once I've got kind of every room planned out before I put a roof on, I'm going to work out the entrance exit area, which is going to be just here. I might even build a little gift shop just here. And then I just need to keep an eye on sight lines and make sure that I'm building above there. I plan on making like a maintenance area here or something along them lines behind the tree line, because obviously the monorail will be passing through there and I don't want anyone to see or avoid seeing the show building, because that's how it would be in real life. And then that'll be the dark ride wrapped up, which I'm really happy with. And now when I look back, this episode will have quite a fair bit in it. I know I haven't done time lapses, and like I say, there is a few reasons for this, just because they take up so much memory on my computer as well, and they just take so much time, and I feel like weirdly I'm like under pressure. So for now I think I'm going to keep with this format and just keep on updating you when I've done a little bit more, when I'm just picking away at it. There's still quite a bit to do over here, but I'm kind of just losing inspiration with this area, so I just need to go and do something new. Something exciting, something that I had ideas for, which is this Viking Dark Ride. If you've got any ideas for this Viking Dark Ride's name or anything like that, or the area or anything like that, I'm still after names for everything so far, apart from, what do we call this? Prometheus, which I just kind of had that name anyway, so I thought I'd just slap it on. But we've got Gunslinger's Grave, that's done, so I'm not too bothered about that. But the Mac launch coaster we need a name for, the park we need a name for, this dark ride we need a name for, and I'm going to kind of work out a plot for this roller coaster here, which I still haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I want to mess with the terrain a bit more and kind of go from there. So that kind of wraps up this little update, and I shall see you again in a few hours. Welcome back to what is going to be the last update of this video, of this episode rather, and I've spent a lot of time, more than I care to admit, Just spending some more time in this Viking harbour area, and to be honest, I am very, very happy with how it's looking so far. So as you can see, excuse me. So as you can see, the dark ride facade is coming along nicely. I just kind of want it to look like a harbour village, so different kinds of buildings. This is the entrance to the ride, and I kind of wanted it to sink in nicely, which I think it does, kind of fits into the area. And doesn't look like too obvious that this is in fact a massive show building and a queue line. But before we get too far into the dark ride, because I've done quite a bit to that actually, we have of course added the flat ride, and it would be rude not to have a swinging ship in this harbour area. This is still a long way to go yet. I kind of wanted a semi-covered station, bay area, whatever you want to call it, platform to the ride. And that's exactly what I've got. I think it's looking really, really good. I'm super happy with how it's turning out. I've added some bits and bobs to the actual boat itself. I'm still going to colour it and all that sort of thing. I just wanted to get a feel of how it was going to look though. And I'm very, very happy with the result. I need to do some flattening here. But overall, I think it's looking pretty good. Obviously needs lighting and some more scenery work, but as it stands, very, very happy. And I think the key to a harbour area or any waterside part of a park is a retaining wall, which is this wall here. I think it just cleans it up so much nicer, and it's rare to actually see a theme park with just like rock work or a bank, unless it's themed that way. You will often see retaining walls such as this and this, so I'm trying to keep that going. I'll do the same over here. And yeah, I think it's looking really, really good. Let me know what you think so far, and let's have a look at the dark ride. So this area still needs a lot of work. I need to do some detailing around here. This is supposed to be just like little houses of the village. I might do like a market scene here just to break it up a bit. This is the exit, and this will eventually be the gift shop photo area exit for the dark ride. And this is a queue line, which of course needs lots and lots of theming, but I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm just going to put kind of a wooden floor and some paraphernalia and stuff, and maybe do a wooden ceiling like you're on the boat. But I'm not sure yet. That'll be in the next episode, or I might even do it like off camera and just update you. But anyway, this is the station area. I'm really liking how it's looking. I've got to cover it yet, and again, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but yeah, I've put a roof in here as if it's kind of like part of the village. And yeah, really happy with how the station building's looking, or the station room is looking. And as you can tell, I've added a lot of audio to the ride, just to kind of get it all like nice continuity. This is kind of the dungeon yard marina type part of the ride. And yeah, very, very basic room. It was never meant to be like super, super themed. I've still got a bit of work to do in here though. Add a few more bits. But I'm getting to the stage now where I really am running out of pieces to add, so I might have to start making my own. We've just got these little speakers down here that are just running a soundtrack, and as you move further into the ride, there is some sound effects and some ambience and stuff like that. And the next room is kind of like a market kind of area. You've got the market audio. It's a wooden ceiling. I'm going to raise those lights up to see if I can get it to kind of bleed through the cracks, because that would be really, really cool. But I'm not sure if that's a thing, but we shall see. I'm going to add some mist and some other bits in here. That's before you go into the kind of the village town sort of area with this really catchy audio. And it's just a couple of houses with just bits and bobs outside, and then of course the main kind of boat war scene, battle scene if you like. This wall is still giving me issues. But I think I'm just going to cut into this and then patch it up. Anyway, and then of course you come into the cave scene, which needs finishing off, as the rest of the rooms do, but nothing really much in here. And then you kind of come into this cursed tomb that's kind of lots going on, lots of effects and stuff like that. I thought it was a nice way to end the ride with all these bioluminescent rocks and stuff like that, and lots of stuff happening. You get a bit more wet here. And yeah, added some audio. I really like these new like display speakers. I think they look really realistic and fantastic, and they sound great. They really do pump audio through. And then you're back into the station, so not a super long ride, but I think I like how it kind of feels in general. I'm really, really happy with it so far. I just need to kind of get it finished. I just wanted to see if there's any way to turn down how fast the cars go. No, you can't, which is annoying. Can you do it on here? No, you cannot, which is annoying, because I wanted it to go a bit slower, because it's probably only a minute or two long in a minute. But there we are, that happens. The show building's come along nicely, like I say, super basic, nothing crazy at all, but I'm really happy with how it's all looking. It shouldn't be too hard to cover this and hide. And then I'm going to have the monorail kind of coming around the front here, so I might do that next. But yeah, as I say, really happy with how it's looking so far. And yeah, that's kind of the update of episode 3. We've got a lot done. We've got the whole Wild West area, the Viking area, you know, is really coming together. So yeah, we're moving through this park pretty nicely. I'm happy with the progress. But yeah, let me know what you think below in the comments, and if you're enjoying it, please do consider subscribing and liking the video just to let me know that you are enjoying it. And if you don't like it, please let me know why, as always. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm really enjoying getting back into this again, and I apologise for the delay. But I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let me know if you've got any suggestions or things you'd like to see in the park, things you wouldn't like to see in the park, in the comments. And I shall see you next week for the next episode.